So that's another requirement, which is a boundary that women know not to actually step over. But she'll do it with another dude easily. But a certain dude, she's not going to do that with. So that's a boundary that isn't really spoken, or you don't really have to say, hey, because it ain't never happened. I wish a woman would turn around and raise her voice, say some crazy shit. I'm not finna tell her not to do it no more. I don't even know what I would do because it ain't never happened. But that's a boundary that women already know not to step over. So certain things don't need to be said. So that makes sense, Bruiser. That's what you're saying, or no?
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
I just want to speak to the ladies because there's a lot of women watching this right now. And a lot of women, I think sometimes they get left by men because they don't respect basic boundaries, not just the way you dress, but also how you speak to a man, how you respect a man, and how you speak to other men. If you're flirting with other men, I have had men friends and men in my family tell me they cut off women instantly because they were speaking too closely to a man. They were too close to his face because they gave out their phone number thinking that they're just going to be gym friends because they dressed it inappropriately and embarrassed him because they were dressed like a social media woman. These simple things that women are thinking is not so much of a big deal because they've done it with other men that may have been lower tier men. And then they try to get a man with standards and they're like, oh, he just dumped me. It doesn't work with him because you have to have a level of decorum and standards when it comes to respecting certain types of men. And they don't know that. Maybe their father didn't teach them that. Maybe their brothers didn't teach them that. So just speaking to the ladies, you have to learn how to respect yourself first in order to learn how to respect a man. So what I mean by that is how you dress, how you speak, how you present yourself, where you go, how you spend your time, how you spend your money, especially the television shows you're watching. You got to stop watching these reality television shows, the housewives and all of that. I think it's keeping you guys single. So I just wanted to add that to the conversation while we're here. That's all.
Okay. Precious, you want to add to this boundaries and handcuffs, versus handcuffs?
I just wanted to say that for one, boundaries is a healthy thing for a man and a woman to have. So if you don't have simple respect for, if a woman doesn't have simple respect for a man, then she probably never learned boundaries when she was younger. Like Balance said, her dad didn't teach her. Maybe she didn't have a father in the home to teach her boundaries. And then she gets in a relationship with a man who has handcuffs on her. And that's a very, immature way to handle an adult. Adults who understand boundaries will hold tight to those boundaries and not step over that line. And if you don't know what a boundary is, then more than likely you have handcuffs on someone because you're not practicing, a healthy practices in your relationships.
I don't think.
Yeah, you have boundaries within yourself, just how you operate with the opposite sex, certain things like that. Like I coach women, I have boundaries. If I'm at an event and I'm around women that I coach, is certain, so yeah, you have to have boundaries, and all of this has to be like going on a part of your life before you get in a relationship with another person. So you got to have certain boundaries and certain levels of respect for the opposite sex, even before you get in a relationship with a particular person, because you don't want to treat that particular person more special than you treat the typical person when it comes to basic needs and basic boundaries. Like if you treat one person like shit, at some point you're gonna end up treating your lady like shit because it's what you usually do.
I don't know, Mr. Lego. It's
this word boundaries thing. Like, if everybody should have respect, then it should just be respect. It shouldn't be a boundary. It should be like, when I talk to you, you should be talking to me with the same respect only. It shouldn't be like, well, I like it this way and this person likes it that way. That's like, to me, changing the topic. I don't understand the difference between
that. Only work with women. That don't work with men.
You're saying work with men, like you guys having boundaries for women or having boundaries for each other? What are you talking about?
Like, I was listening to Balance speak, right? And the first thing that came to my mind is stop trying to change the hoes. Like, it's certain women that's hoes. and then there's other women that are not, right? And so everybody has a place. And so I'm not gonna treat a hoe the same way that I would treat a housewife. You know what I'm saying? So you got to treat the hoes like you treat the hoes, but women in a general sense should have a level of respect for everybody because they have to maintain their femininity, and that's just the way it is, right?
Right. Okay.
It's a double standard in that way, in the same way that there's double standards for women that men can't have. But we not gonna change the hoes into the housewives. We just gonna be, we gotta let them be. You know what I'm saying? Like they serve a purpose in society, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna treat them the same way that I would treat a wife.
But Anton, before a woman gets to that point, what is she considered?
What do you mean?
Before a woman gets to be a
She's
whore.
considered a wife.
So
Like she's a respectable woman, not specifically a wife, but she's a respectable woman, right? And then once she devolves into hold'em, you can't bring her out of it.
Yeah, I gotta remember, a whore doesn't have boundaries. That's what makes her a whore. She doesn't have boundaries.
So
You know what I mean?
Anton and to Mr. Let Go, I'm speaking to the young women before they get to a point of no return. So before they get to this place, I'm speaking to those women who are 19 and 20 who are naked on Instagram. They may not be a whore. They just may not have learned from their father how to dress appropriately and how to deal with men appropriately yet. So those are the women that I focus on.
I get what you're saying. She's trying to.
Whore without even doing whore things if she's doing that, because she's displaying the fact that she doesn't have boundaries.
Because she didn't have no
whether
daddy, and
somebody
that
smashed her or
could
not.
change. What I'm saying is that woman can change.
Basically,
No,
what
wait,
Balance is saying that it's not too late for those women who got their ass
It's
out.
Exactly.
It's really, really late.
Wait, Balance. So you saying a woman who literally shows her ass crack and all of that?
No, I mean like a bathing suit on Instagram. She shouldn't do that. But if she doesn't even know yet that she shouldn't be doing this because she's copying everybody else, that woman is not a whore. She's just misled and misguided, and she can
her mom
change.
is a
Hold
whore,
on,
Balance.
so-
Her mom is a
Yeah.
whore.
Hold on, real quick, Mr. Lego.
Because
How
the
can you
person
say
that's
that?
teaching her,
How can you
is
say she's the
responsible
whore
for-
whenever
on.
this same when this same girl break down and she need her tires changed, you gonna eat her ass?
First of all, you
That's
stupid.
not what we talk about, Bruce.
What is wrong with you, man?
I coach young girls, and I know that they're not all whores. A lot of them just don't know what they're doing because they didn't have a father for real. They just don't know what they're
She's a
doing.
whore. I'm not gonna buy her no tires because she's a whore. I don't buy whores tires.
Oh, can we
So
stop
just put
saying
it down.
whores?